Now, the next thing I want to kind of drive into is the AFL season that we've kind of just seen wrap up in the last couple of days. For those who don't know, I'm a big AFL fan. So are you, Harry. Obviously, big Lions, Brisbane Lions fans as well. And I watched them go throughout this season. It was a very up and down season. The Lions went through some good patches, and then we lost our momentum and had some bad injuries along the way as well.
Very bad injuries.
Eric Kipwood and just lots of bad injuries. Cam Rayner at the very start of the season. So,
gosh, imagine where we'd be if we had him and Kipwood far out.
It would have been a very different season, I feel like, because you know the Brisbane is a team on the rise, and we've proved ourselves. Yeah. But we just can't get over that final hurdle of making it all the way. Yeah. And I think it's coming soon. Do you agree?
I hope so. Because, I think you'd like to see a return for investment, emotional investment. Because, I think there's not much worse than having such a big build-up where you've seen it go from being bottom of the ladder, from being a terrible team, losing by 100 points, just really struggling for attendance, for membership, for everything, and then slowly getting up there, getting a bigger team, a better team, a younger team, and growing those players, and then getting a few good
getting an experienced coach as well.
Getting an experienced coach, just the building the foundation the right way, building it up, and then making the top four, and then making the finals, and then making the prelim final, and then losing in the finals. It's
such a deflating feeling.
But also I think you've got to be patient too. Our players, a lot of our good players are still very young, and a lot of the good players are still in their prime. Like Daniel Rich, Jared Lyons,
Lachie Neale,
Zorko, Lachie Neale. Players like Jet Danaher now, Harris Andrews. He's still young. It doesn't feel like he's young. That's because he's been in the team.
He's such a huge unit.
He's been in the team for 5 years now, but he's only 22, 23.
That's pretty crazy.
And same with McCluggage, players like that.
The horizon is
it's still
really
there.
bright.
It's not just because we've lost in the finals the last 3 years that everything's over, which is good, because it could be for some teams. Some teams might see 3 years in a row losing, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's over. Just blow the team up, tank or whatever."
Or get a new coach.
Get a new coach, or they need to change something. But a lot of the time, it's just a bounce of the ball. It's just a bounce. It honestly is just a bounce.
Especially in this game.
Say if we won that game against Geelong at the start of the year, when the holding the ball in the pocket should have been called our way.
Yeah.
We might have finished a spot higher. We might have been able to rest some players and not get injured. We might have been able to play a different opponent at a different time instead of playing the Bulldogs, which were, one of the hottest teams in the league, and we just pipped them to have, to finish fourth.
Yeah, they were on a great momentum run because they just had a dip in form at the end of the season and came into finals just bursting out of the blocks.
Imagine if we played Geelong in the finals and they were on a downward slope, and we beat them and we made the prelim. I mean, there's so many things that could have happened. So I think that you don't need to change anything if it's just because you lose at a critical point. I think so many other things, and so many teams are good. There's not on another day, I think Bulldogs could have beaten Demons in the grand final. On another day, you could have seen a completely different result. So it's just whatever happens, it's not guaranteed. So I think that it's good to stick with the players you've got and continuity. Yeah, I think that I think it's definitely still a window there for at least another 2 years, if not 3. Yeah, if we just get some more, I don't know if we need more, we just need more luck, I think.
I agree.
There's a lot of luck that it's involved.
Well, something that I wanted to add on to what you were saying, and I find this quite interesting, is that the last 3 years that we've made the finals, the teams that we've come up against were always the teams that made it all the way. So in 3 years ago, it was Richmond and GWS. We lost.
Yeah.
And they ended up being in the grand final.
Yeah.
And then the year after, 2020, was... we beat Richmond.
Yeah.
And then we lost to Geelong, and they both made it into the grand final. And then this year, we lost to Melbourne, and then we lost to the Dogs, and they both made it to the grand final.
And it was pretty close with the Dogs as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It wasn't like we only just got beat. It wasn't like we got thrashed I don't even think we ever got thrashed this year.
Well, Melbourne group breezed past us in the quarterfinal.
True. Anyway.
But like we've always put up a fight, I think
that we've always put up a decent fight. So,
and that's the good thing that is promising for Brisbane, I feel like, is that they are a great team on the rise with a lot of young kids, and the more experienced players that we do have, like you said, in their prime. So I'm very confident with the trajectory that we're going on. And there's nothing more I want to see in this world than Dane Zorko and Chris Fagan lift that damn trophy.
Yeah.
Nothing more I want to see in the world.
I think...
Especially for Fags. He's such a great coach and has brought such a great culture to the club. And I just love everything about him.
Yeah.
And I really want to see some reward for him.
It's a very even season now. Like, for the last maybe 4 years, because of how dominant Richmond were, it was kind of like, there's no one else that's really going to win it. But now you've got at least 4 teams, if not 5, that you could see winning the whole thing.
Well, that's why I love watching the AFL, because it is such a consistently competitive competition. You know, like I remember a couple of years ago, West Coast finished bottom of the table. The very next year, they made it to the preliminary final.
Yeah.
So, like, it's so easy to go from these drastic switches of, you know, a team that's outperforming to then make it into the top 8 or, you know, even make it all the way sometimes. And, you know, over the last 2 decades, we've seen dynasties. We obviously saw in the early 2000s the Brisbane dynasty with 2001 all the way to 2004 making it to the grand final. You know, the three-peat, obviously. And then we saw, you know, a great consistent run from Geelong this last 15 or so years. And then most recently, we've obviously seen Richmond. And before them was Hawthorn. So there's been dynasties here and there, but the way that the competition is always flowing up and down, there's always a competitive aspect to it, is why I enjoy watching it and why I think it's very entertaining.
See Gold Coast, there's always a chance. Like, don't give up. Don't give up the Suns, because although you might have had some rough years, you might be able to sneak into the finals next year.
If they get Matt Rowell healthy and fit, he's going to be a weapon for sure.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you didn't get a chance to watch the grand final live because you were working in sport.
Yeah, that's another thing. For all the people who want to maybe work in sport, you've got to consider that you might have to give up a fair few of your Saturday nights and your Friday nights and Sunday mornings. And if you're someone who likes to go out clubbing, which I am not, you might want to reconsider something like that.
Or if you're a big fan of a club or a sport or something, and you might have to miss, because that was the big thing I struggled with, is that working in sport, I'm not always able to watch the Brisbane Lions play live, which is sometimes disappointing. But, you know, like, it is what it is, and I'm not going to complain about it. But that's also, yes, I agree, another thing to consider.
But then again, I'm a big NFL fan, baseball fan, and basketball, and those games in America, they get played at times that are very good for someone who works on the weekends. There's someone, you know, they're always in the morning, especially like Monday mornings and during the week mornings. So, yeah, it's kind of you give and take. Because if I had a regular 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't be able to watch any of those games. So, you know.
Yeah, there's a balance you can strike there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the grand final itself, I'll just express my initial thoughts. I thought the pre-game entertainment, did you watch that as well?
No.
Okay.
When I watched it on replay, it literally just went straight to the first bounce.
Did it?
Yeah, well, who was the actual entertainment?
I'm sure you'd be able to find it online or something. But I thought the pre-game entertainment was superb. I thought it was really, really good. The way the sunset over Optus Stadium in Perth, first time it's ever been played there as well. And I think Optus Stadium is probably it's the best stadium in Australia for sure.
Right.
And just the way they used the lighting, and I thought the music choices were really good. They had a few different bands. So they had, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but they had a lot of big Australian people in there and some classic songs and all that. So I loved it all. It was really well done. However, the halftime show, did you see that?
No.
I didn't like the halftime show.
Who was it?
It was someone, the band, something in Tokyo.
Birds of Tokyo.
Birds of Tokyo.
They're a Perth band.
The Perth band, yeah.
You didn't like them?
Their music's okay, but just live...
Sporting events, live TV...
It was bad.
It's live TV music broadcasts are terrible. You don't get the sound right. There's always a bit of an echo.
I just thought, like, the vibe was just wrong. Like, it just... When you go into a sport, especially a grand final or a Super Bowl or whatever, you want to have upbeat, energetic, fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping music. And when you have these kind of like slow and casual
yeah.
songs, it's just like no. Because I was very fortunate to go to the.
But they're limited. Sorry.
I was very fortunate to go to the 2020 AFL Grand Final that was played here in Brisbane at the Gala.
Yeah.
And they had Shepherd play, the Brisbane-based band, play for the halftime show. And they were fantastic because they are upbeat, great music. And the visual display they had was phenomenal.
Yeah.
This year just was a big misfire in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough one because they're limited. They can't get overseas acts to come here. Like, no.
And I think it's actually great that they tried to use the local artists that they've got at their disposal. Like, I actually like that as an idea.
Yeah.
However, even though it's a good idea, the end result was not good in my opinion. So.
Right. Well, that's the AFL season done. That's it. That's as quick as it starts. It seems like it's as quick as it finishes. Like,
what did you think about the game itself, though? Like, did you think Melbourne were a worthy winner?
Yeah. They just had the best players. Like, they're just kind of a force that couldn't be stopped at the end there.
Because they both have kind of similar play styles, the Dogs and the
they're very
Demons.
similar.
Because they're both very fast-flowing, attack-orientated football on the counter. And I was of the opinion coming into the game that it's whoever has the best defence will win the game.
Yeah.
And I felt the Demons stopped the Dogs more than the other way around. And Melbourne were able to capitalise and kick goals consecutively. And Christian Petrarca got a record high 39 disposals, 2 goals, and of course the Norm Smith medal. And obviously Melbourne, stopped that very long drought of winning a grand final. So I think like coming into the game as a neutral, I didn't really care who won. I just wanted to see a good game. And I'm of the opinion that if a team gets smashed in a grand final, I instantly lose respect for you. Like I've lost all respect for GWS even after the 2019 grand final defeat to Richmond. Even Port Adelaide in 2007, they got smashed by Geelong. And it's taken them, almost 15 years to gain a little bit of respect out of me. So that's my opinion, though.
Okay.
But even though the Bulldogs got smashed, I still was thoroughly entertained by the game. And I think that Melbourne were the better team on the day. But, I think it was still an enjoyable game, even though it was kind of a blowout at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it tends to get a bit... not every game can be amazing, and so it tends to get a bit boring at the end. But if you're the winning team, you love that because there would have been no stress for the Demons fans. They'd been after three-quarter time,
especially kicking a goal on the final siren as well. You've got all your players around you. You hear that siren, you celebrate together. Because another thing as well is if you're playing in the regular play style. And then the siren goes and you're all spread out across the field. It's like you're going to find who's closest to you and celebrate sort of thing. But for them, it was a great moment because it was they were all together. They got to, huddle and, have that sort of embrace at the end. And then they kicked a goal on the siren as well to just add in the extra celebration. So it was, a really good game and a really good result for the Demons. I am satisfied with the end result, even though it was a blowout. And it'll be interesting to see if they can continue that form going into next year because they were the only team that stayed. Well, they stayed top of the table for the entire season and then even made it all the way to the grand final and won the damn thing. So very, very impressive from the Demons, especially for a club that has struggled in recent times.
Yeah, I can still remember. Yeah, I still think of them as team that can't quite get there, even though they have now.
They've completely changed the mindset.
There's just teams that you just can't really I can't see Essendon, Carlton, ever getting to the point of being successful.
It'll be interesting.
People might have thought that about the Lions, although we did.
That's a good point.
In the early 2000s. So
it'll be interesting to see with Michael Voss, who is an ex-Lions player and coach, who's now taken on as coach of Carlton. It'll be interesting to see if he can turn it around. So we will see. But those were our thoughts on the AFL season and grand final. Now I want to quickly transition into the English Premier League, the soccer that's been going on.
Football,
yes, absolutely.